Hey guys, this is Carl from carlsapsy.com here with another tutorial. If you have any questions about my videos or anything in general, head to my website and you can message me via my Contact Me page. Or if you want to, just leave me a message down below in the comment section and like my videos and subscribe to me if you want to. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is I'm simply going to be showing you how you can make a basic temperature converter. Now, this is going to be from degrees Celsius into degrees Fahrenheit, or from Fahrenheit into degrees Celsius. Now, the first thing we're going to do is I just made a little print statement here saying this is my temperature converter, or my temp converter. But first of all, we're going to focus on how we can convert Celsius into Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to declare a variable and call this C. And C for Celsius, and we're going to have an integer input, let's just say, please enter the temperature in degrees you would like to convert. And remember to end your speech marks, and then end your first pair of parentheses, and then also the outer parentheses for the integer value. Now the next thing we're going to do is using the formula, I'm going to declare another variable. I'm going to call this f, and I'm going to make f equal to the value of whatever we're going to make as c, so with c, and I'm going to put multiplied by 9 divided by 5 plus 32. Now this is simple pi maths, so if you don't really understand what this is, I mean, it's literally rewriting this out but just in a different way. If you don't understand this, then I would look at my other videos on how to do basic Python math. Now after I've done this, I can simply write a print statement saying the temperature in degrees, just put as opening speech marks, I forgot, in degrees Celsius was, and I can put a placeholder value of 0 here. This is in degrees, I think this is how you spell Fahrenheit, so it's F-A-H-R, F-A-R-E-N-H-E-I-T, something like that. Either way, so okay, so that's my little print statement, and then I'm going to end it with dot format, and I'm going to put just simply, first of all, C and then F. Now what I've done here is I have included a little print statement saying the temperature in degrees Celsius was 0. Now this first placeholder value, as you can see, relates to the variable C, so this is going to be whatever I put into here. So let's say I put 12 into there, so then the first value would be 12, and then I say this is, and then I put my second placeholder value with the index value of 1, which will be my value of Fahrenheit, which is the value that I obtain from printing out this. So let me go ahead and run this. So run, just call this temp.py, replace. Okay, so my temp converter, please enter the temperature in degrees you would like to convert. So if I say 12, the temperature in degrees Celsius was 12. This is 53.6 in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's that. Now, if you wanted to make, I don't know, let's say the temperature was 12.5 outside, then you could simply just rewrite this as a float input, because a float number is simply a number that you can use which has a decimal point in it. So let me just quickly go ahead and run this again. And let's say I did 34.6. Well, there you go. So now it's 94.28 in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's how you do the first one. Now, using the same kind of logic that I've used for the basic pi maths over here, I can do this exact same thing with the reverse to find out the conversion from Fahrenheit into degrees Celsius. Okay, so the first thing I can do is declare a variable and call this, or in fact, let me call this a different program altogether. So hang on a sec. If you want to make a proper indent of the entirety of the program, what you can do is, let me call this program define or def. Let's call this def C. What you can now do is, if you highlight everything within def C, then you can go on to, I think it's edit, nope, format, and you can just simply click on indent region, and that'll give it one indent. So now if I go, now if I quickly go and run this, and I just put C, and I can therefore run my program. So I can put 0. Well, there you go, it's 32 degrees. And then again, if I put C, it'll rerun the program. Okay, now I'm going to make a new program here because, I mean, in my next tutorial I'll show you how you can implement them both using the if statement. But for now I'm going to make two separate programs. So I'm going to call this one define F, and within this I shall write my new program. So let's start off with a variable called F, and let's say integer input, or sorry, let's just go with the float input. Float input. Yep, so I can just go ahead and copy all this, paste that in. And remember again, since you've opened up two parentheses, make sure you close them both at the very end or the program will not run correctly. Now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a new variable called F1, and I'm going to say the variable F minus 32, purely for the sake of just to make it easier to read. So I'm going to separate these two into two different parts. So the first part in brackets is my first part, and then multiply that by 5/9 as my second one. Now I can go ahead and make a second variable, and I can call this, let me call this one C, and C is going to be equal to F multiplied by 5 divided by 9. Okay, so what I've simply done here is I've taken my first variable, which is F, and I've asked them for the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit he would like to convert, and then I'm saying whatever value this is minus 32, and then whatever overall value this is, I can then make this into degrees Celsius. So then I can go ahead and make a print statement saying print. So I can just go ahead and just change this a little bit. So I'll take the same thing, but I'll just change it a little bit. So when the temperature in degrees, I'll just call this F for now, was 0. This is 1 in degrees. Just call this C. Dot format. And then in brackets, my first one was F, and my second one in this case was now C. And remember again to close both of the parentheses. Okay, so now I can go ahead and run the program. And I'm going to run the program F this time. So please enter the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit that you'd like to convert. So let's say I did 45. And since I've used a float initially, that makes it 7. So since the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit was 45, this is 7.2 recurring in degrees Celsius. Now, if I simply did it in 32, then it should come up to 0.0 in degrees Celsius. Okay, so again, if you don't have to use a float number, you can use a regular integer number. That's also fine. Using float numbers does make life easier, especially if you're going to be using decimal points, because integer values will not accept a decimal point value in the input function. Okay, so if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact me. You can check me out on my website. You can subscribe to me if you'd want. But if you have any other questions, just leave me a comment or something. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. This is Carl from carlsapsy.com.